Today we've got an exciting episode for you. I have two of the best saws in my opinion for portability and job site. The Skilsaw Worm Drive SPT99-11 and the new Evolution R10 TBLX table saw that came out not too long ago. Both saws have raw power, but which one has the more features and which one is more affordable for your average user? I want to start by talking about safety because I feel that that's very important. Both saws feature a riving blade, both feature a blade guard, a kickstop, and a switch that's lockable in case you have little ones running around. The Skilsaw table is slightly larger than the Evolution, coming in at 22 by 27 and 5/8, whereas the Evolution is more compact and a little smaller at 22 and 11/16 by 22 and a half. Both saws feature outfeed support. The Skilsaw has a part of the frame, a side outfeed, but they're going to make you purchase the rear outfeed accessory. The Evolution has the rear outfeed accessory included, but no side outfeed support. Both saws feature the standard front instrument panel. You've got your push stick, you've got your 90-degree, 45-degree gauge, you've got your power button with the lock that I mentioned previously. Both saws feature the new updated fence system, the rack and pinion fence system, where you can dial in your measurement, make a lock, and make the cut. Both manufacturers have a locking lever for the fence system. One is a little louder than the other, but they both do the job. Speaking of the fence system, both fences are almost identical. They both have the levers that support long pieces and thin pieces of wood. Both saws have handles on the side of the saw for carrying around. Both saws feature foldable frames that you can transport and put in a vehicle. However, I think the Skilsaw is going to be heavier and a lot bigger, so you're limited what vehicles you can put it in. Both manufacturers gave zero thought in regards to cord hooks. There's barely enough room for the cord itself, let alone an extension cord if you want to take that to the job site. Both manufacturers gave quite a bit of thought to where you put all of your accessories underneath the table, and there's a place for everything pretty much. Both manufacturers have an elbow for dust extraction, and you could use your favorite dust collection system as well. Both dust extraction ports are 2 1/4. In regards to throat plates, the Skilsaw comes with a standard throat plate. It is metal, but it's only one, and it's not a zero clearance plate at all. They do not give you a dado plate. You have to spend extra for that. However, the Evolution gives you a zero clearance throat plate with another cap for that in case you have a different size blade. They also throw in a dado plate as well, and everything is metal. In regards to the blades the machines come with, the Skilsaw includes a 24-tooth carbide tip blade, general purpose stuff. The Evolution is a blade that's multi-purpose. You could use it for cutting plastic, metal, or wood. Not as much as far as a fine cut. However, Evolution does have a fine cutting blade that's available through their website. Both saws blades can be adjusted. However, the Skilsaw's adjustment involves 4 hex screws, but the Evolutions involve one assembly with a fly lock nut and a twist knob. It's a lot easier to do it on the Evolution. Both fences are adjustable as regards to calibration to the miter slots. Both pretty much have the same locking nuts that you can release and adjust and tighten. I recently got a woodpecker saw gauge and I'm excited to use it, and I'll show you if the Skilsaw is accurate or if the Evolution is accurate. I've never touched the Skilsaw, never touched the Evolution. Let's see how they are. Looks like the Skilsaw fence was off by 0.03 of an inch. That's acceptable. The Skilsaw's blade, however, is off by 0.05. I would never accept it. The Evolution fence was dead on, in my opinion. And the Evolution's blade was also dead on. Extremely impressive. I want to test out the sound decibels now. Keep in mind that both saws are quite loud, and I highly recommend wearing your hearing protection. I was actually surprised because I assumed the Skilsaw would be louder, but the Evolution was around 3 to 4 decibels louder. I'm cutting the zero clearance plate slot right now for my multi-purpose blade. That is a clean cut. I'm now going to test the multi-purpose blade on a variety of materials such as wood, plastic, and metal. I'm now going to install Evolution's fine wood blade. It's 60 teeth, it's got a 1-inch arbor, and if you need the fitting that they include, it'll fit the 5/8 inch arbor as well. It's going to be a really nice blade to test. I'm going to install this right now. We'll get on with the test. All right, the next test is going to be a 3.5 by 3.5 long rip. We've got the blade extended past the wood, and we're going to run it straight through, see if there's any bogging, any problems, especially any breaker flips on the Skilsaw. Let's see what happens. Well, you saw what the Skilsaw did. We're going to go ahead and try the same test on the Evolution, see what happens, see if there's any power bogging. I'm sure it's going to be just fine. Well, the Evolution definitely did its job. The cut was extremely clean, very professional looking, no problems with power, no bogging down. It's just a joy to use. On to the next test. Honestly, there's really not a difference between the cuts. Even though this is an 80 tooth and the Evolution's is a 60, I don't think anybody could really tell. As long as the cut is clean, the line is straight. I'm impressed with the Evolution saw and all that it has to offer for less money. Now for the dado test. This is the Skilsaw SPT99. We're going to run a dado all the way through this piece of wood. This is about 9 inches long. It's 3.5 by 3.5. The Skilsaw SPT99 allows for a maximum depth cut of 2 3/4. The maximum dado stack that it will accept is a 13/16. So we have the maximum of the dado, and then the height is the maximum at 3/4. Remember to always wear your PPE. Don't be surprised if this saw flips the breaker. We'll see what happens. Yep, Skilsaw flipped my breaker. I knew it. Now we're going to test the Evolution R10. Same specs except one. The Skilsaw has the depth for a dado stack at 2 3/4, whereas the Evolution has it at 2 1/2. We're still doing the same dado stack size, 13/16. This is the same block of wood, 9 inches by 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. And don't forget to wear your PPE. Let's see what happens. Yes, that is what I'm talking about. Stable power, 0 breaker flips. So impressed. I don't really care about the extra 1/4 of an inch that the Skilsaw has. It still suits the same purpose. I'm very impressed. What a machine. So we did all of the tests, and now my thoughts. I'm going to start with Skilsaw as far as the cons in my personal experience using the saw. The number one con is the maintenance and the upkeep of the saw. In addition to the brushes on the motor, you have to turn on the saw to warm up the oil in the worm drive. After doing so, remove the saw from the stand, flip it over, and drain all of the oil. Sometimes the oil gets clumpy and you need to put new oil in to mix that around, warm up the oil, and drain it out again. But we have to make sure we get everything out of the motor. And once that's done, we plug it back up, we turn it right side up, and then we fill up the oil again. We run the saw, the oil gets lower, and we need to check the level. So we fill the saw up again with oil and make sure it's tapped off and make sure it's at the level that it's supposed to be, and then the saw is okay. I think they said something like maybe once or twice a year. Which, you know, it's not a big deal. It is an extra expense, and it is more as far as the maintenance is concerned, which I would prefer not to do and not to mess with. Sometimes they're going to make you go to a specific shop that does these things, a machining shop, which, you know, would cost money because it would void your warranty if you try to do it yourself. Some supports are that picky, and they will make you do that. So that is another thing that you want to think about before buying this saw. Another con that I have is that the saw is powerful, but it does flip breakers on 15 amps quite a bit. You would probably need to upgrade the circuit in your home and get you a 20 amp breaker, and you might be able to use the saw properly without any kind of interference. Which leads me to believe that the power cord having the higher gauge wire would be the problem there, because it's not providing sufficient power to the motor and the continuity isn't quite there. Something a little nitpicky, but the miter gauge is made of plastic, and it's more like a toy than anything. Really has no real use for me. Two things in regards to the table being catered or tilted because the pegs in the front are shorter than these large wheels. And I think the main thing that I could say is that if you're a stickler for measurements and accuracy, the tape is off by 1/8 of an inch. So I compared that to a tape measure that I have that I know that is accurate, and then that was an issue there as well. Another con is that the Skilsaw only offers a 1-year limited warranty. Another con is that the Skilsaw only includes a standard throat plate It doesn't include any dado plate or any zero clearance plate, nor does it include the outfeed support for the rear. Final con, it comes with only a 24 tooth blade. It is carbide tip, but they probably could have included a better blade with the saw for at the price point. Now we'll start with the pros. The pros is that the saw is a powerful saw and it will pretty much rip anything that you put at it, provided that you have that 20 amp circuit. The table is a full-size table, which is also nice. The stand is robust, heavy duty, really nice. The stand also acts as a side outfeed support, which is good. And now on to the Evolution R10. Start with the cons. I'll try to think of a couple of things. There's always something, and that's why they do revisions. From what I understand, this is the newer version of the saw. The stand is fine. It's as long as you don't abuse it, as long as you're not rough with it. It's not as robust as the Skilsaw, but not a big deal in my opinion, but that might be a con to somebody. The knob for the fin system is a little smaller than that of the Skilsaw. The miter gauge had a tendency to warp or lift off the top of the sled when I was clamping down wood. And just a minor cosmetic thing, the handle to raise and lower the blade, the little cap falls off and you probably might want to use some super glue to keep that on. And that's pretty much it for the cons. There's not very many, but I just wanted to kind of get nitpicky with it and just give somebody some feedback if they need it. Let's go to the pros. The pros is that the saw has a solid quality 3-year warranty with quality customer service. Any issue that I've had, they've been very responsive, and any parts that were broken or missing and needed to be replaced were sent out free of charge. So I 100% love Evolution, the company, and the support that they give you. One of the things that they do is they're very generous in regards to the accessories that they give you. They include the rear outfeed support. They include multiple throat plates. So they've got the zero clearance plate, they've got the dado plate, and it's amazing what they include with the saw. Something that you don't see every day as far as the saw is concerned is the sliding sled. That was really handy for getting 45 and 90-degree crosscuts. I also feel that Evolution has stepped up their game as far as their manual. Was reading the manual. It's very clear and very precise in regards to the details and how you put things together. I really appreciate that. Well, there you have it. You have my thoughts on both saws and regards to the features and the pros and the cons. I know what saw I would buy. Like I said, I'm a DIYer, at-home kind of guy. I'm not a contractor. If that is something more your speed, and if you have the extra cash, by all means, spend $750. If you need a robust stand and a full-size table and things of that nature for contract use, more power to you. I'm with the Evolution because it has so much included. It has all of the features that I need. It has a 3-year warranty versus the 1-year warranty with Skill. It's got excellent customer service. I can't say enough good things about it. I'm excited to use the saw in the future for different projects. Well, that concludes this episode. I hope that it was helpful on making your next purchase for a job site portable saw. I know what saw I'm going to be keeping in my garage. The Evolution has so many features, and it was so useful, and it was a fraction of the price of the Skilsaw. You get a 3-year warranty, great customer service versus only a 1-year warranty, and their customer service said tough luck to me. So there's your answer. If you found this episode helpful, please like it, and please consider subscribing. I'm going to have a lot more videos coming down the pipe. If you have any questions, please go ahead and post them below. I do my best to get to everybody's question. Go ahead and have yourself a great day.